To understand the magnitude of the Tata Nano's failure, you must first understand the absolute sheer scale of the company that built it. The Tata Group is not just a corporation, it is the industrial backbone of India. Established in 1868 by Jamsetji Tata, it is a global conglomerate that produces everything from the salt on millions of dining tables to the steel skeletons of skyscrapers. When a company of this magnitude makes a move, it doesn't just affect a market sector, it shifts the entire global economy. At the center of this empire was Chairman Ratan Tata, an incredibly shrewd industrialist, but also a leader driven by a deep sense of social empathy. The Tata Nano was not just another line item on a quarterly earnings report for him. It was his absolute dream project. It was personal. The origin of this dream is now a corporate legend. On a heavy, monsoon-soaked afternoon in Mumbai, Ratan Tata was sitting in his chauffeur-driven car. Looking out the window, he watched a family of four, a father driving, a child standing in the front, a mother holding a baby in the back, wobbling through the torrential rain on a single motorcycle. India is a nation where millions rely on two-wheelers for daily transportation, but with notoriously poor street conditions and heavily congested traffic, carrying a full family on a bike is incredibly dangerous. Ratan Tata was deeply moved. He decided in that moment that his company had to do something. He envisioned an affordable, safe, all-weather family vehicle, and he made a public promise that would send shockwaves through the global automotive industry. Tata Motors would build a functional four-door car for exactly 1 lakh rupees, equivalent to roughly $5,500 USD at the time. The world laughed. Competitors called it a PR stunt, but Tata Motors went to work. How do you build a car for the price of a high-end laptop? You don't just cut corners, you have to completely reinvent the wheel through frugal engineering. To hit the 1 lakh mark, the engineers at Tata stripped away anything that wasn't strictly essential for moving a chassis from point A to point B. This wasn't just a reduction in materials, it was a masterclass in aggressive operational efficiency. They used a tiny rear-mounted two-cylinder, 624cc petrol engine. There was no air conditioning, no radio, and no power steering. The car utilized only a single windshield wiper blade and entirely removed the passenger side wing mirror. They used just 3 lug nuts per wheel instead of the standard 4, and even removed the fuel filler cap from the exterior, requiring you to pop the hood to pump gas. If you are an entrepreneur looking at supply chain logistics, this is a blueprint for radical disruption. But make no mistake, this wasn't just a cheap tin can, it was a marvel of automotive innovation. Tata Motors pushed the boundaries of efficiency so far that they generated dozens of new engineering solutions. The project resulted in roughly 80 distinct patent applications. The vehicle's engineering was so profoundly efficient that it would eventually earn a Guinness World Record. An Indian driving enthusiast took a Nano on an incredible 10,218-kilometer road trip, setting the record for the longest continuous journey by a car in a single country, proving its endurance and the reliability of its frugal design. When the Tata Nano was officially unveiled at the 2008 Auto Expo in New Delhi, the response was explosive. Global automakers were in absolute shock. Companies like Ford, Toyota, and Suzuki scrambled to figure out how Tata had achieved the impossible. The media immediately crowned it the people's car. The ripple effects hit the economy instantly. The used car market experienced a massive drop, with prices plunging 25% to 30% practically overnight. Sales of the Nano's closest competitor, the Maruti 800, instantly plummeted by 20%. Tata's servers crashed under the weight of 40 million website hits. When bookings opened, they received an overwhelming 200,000 orders, requiring a computerized lottery system to allocate the first 100,000 cars. The hype reached the highest offices in the world. During a 2010 visit to India, US President Barack Obama specifically requested to see the vehicle. When he was introduced to Ratan Tata, Obama turned to First Lady Michelle and said, This is the person who created the $20,500 Wonder Car. Michelle Obama was so fascinated she sat inside the car, admiring the engineering firsthand. But a storm was brewing. To meet this massive demand, Tata Motors had invested heavily in a sprawling, state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Singur, West Bengal. But the land acquisition for this factory sparked fierce, violent political protests from local farmers and opposition parties. The situation deteriorated rapidly. Workers were threatened, roads were blockaded, and the political climate became incredibly hostile. Led by Mamata Banerjee, the protests lasted for months. Farmers demanded their land back, and the state government was caught in a deadlock. In October 2008, Ratan Tata made a devastating multi-million-dollar decision. He abandoned the nearly completed Singur plant and relocated the entire operation to Sanand in Gujarat. This was a logistical nightmare and a billion-dollar bleed. The relocation delayed production by over a year. The financial toll was staggering. Tata had already poured over 1,000 crore rupees into the Singur site. They bore a catastrophic total loss. Yet, Ratan Tata proved he was a man of his word. Despite the bleeding balance sheet, when the first Nanos finally rolled out of the new plant, they were delivered to the first lottery winners for exactly 1 lakh rupees. After the move to Gujarat, Tata Motors made a fatal miscalculation. They leaned entirely into a marketing strategy that labeled the Nano as the world's cheapest car. In a boardroom, cheapest sounds like a massive competitive advantage. But human psychology doesn't work like a spreadsheet. When a consumer hears a high-speed machine is the cheapest, their brain translates it into something else. Unreliable, fragile, unsafe. To the Indian consumer, buying a car is a milestone of prestige. The Nano's catchline didn't help sell it, it actively warned people away. Buyers suspected that to hit that 1 lakh price tag, Tata must have cut dangerous corners. And then, their absolute worst fears were confirmed on the open road. In March 2010, the first reports of fires began to surface. A brand new silver Tata Nano, still draped in a celebratory garland of marigolds, burst into flames just miles from the showroom. Satish Sawant and his family barely managed to scramble out. This wasn't an isolated incident. Reports of Nanos spontaneously catching fire began flooding the media from New Delhi to Mumbai. The cheap stigma was now permanently cemented as a dangerous reality. The media ruthlessly amplified the narrative. People made memes and called it a matchbox. To a consumer, if a $50,000 luxury car catches fire, it's a freak mechanical defect. But when a $2,500 car catches fire, it is perceived as ultimate proof of poor quality. The brand was damaged beyond immediate repair. Sales began a total financial freefall. In 2011, they sold 70,000 units. By 2013, sales crashed to 21,000. By 2017, that number plummeted to an abysmal 7,591 cars for the entire country. To make matters worse, rising raw material costs forced Tata to hike the price. What started as the 1 lakh dream eventually swelled to over 2.6 lakhs. It lost its only unique selling proposition, yet kept all of its negative stigma. It was the end of the first chapter. The financial bleeding was catastrophic. Former Tata Sons chairman Cyrus Mistry later revealed that there was no line of sight to profitability for the Nano. The project consistently lost value, with losses peaking at a jaw-dropping 1,400 crore rupees, roughly $150 million USD at the time, just in late-stage operational losses. By 2019, the assembly lines went entirely dark. For the entire calendar year of 2019, Tata Motors produced 0 new Nanos and sold exactly 1 single unit. The Tata Nano is one of the greatest engineering feats of the 21st century. The fact that they built a functioning car for $1,500 is a miracle. But as a business case study, it teaches us an unforgettable million-dollar lesson. If I were consulting a company launching a disruptive low-cost product today, my primary warning would be this: value engineering is brilliant, but value marketing is dangerous. When you sell to the lower or middle class, You cannot market your product as a reminder of their financial struggles. The families Ratan Tata saw on those motorcycles wanted a car to feel successful, not to feel cheap. They happily bypassed the new Nano to buy used, more expensive cars from competitors like Maruti Suzuki just to protect their social dignity. Never market a product based on how little it costs. Market it based on how much freedom, status, or joy it provides. Tata forgot that they weren't just selling steel and rubber, they were selling self-esteem. And in business, if your product damages the customer's pride, no price tag in the world is cheap enough to save it. So, how do you fix it? You pivot the entire operational and marketing strategy. First, the OPEX shift. I would have completely vetoed the 1 lakh sticker price marketing. Instead of selling it as a cheap capital asset, I would have partnered with banks to sell it as a highly affordable operational expense. Market it as Rs $2,000 a month. Second, reverse the pricing strategy. Never launch the stripped-down 1 lakh version first. That instantly cheapens the brand. Instead, use a pricing strategy called the halo effect. Launch a fully loaded premium version of the Nano first, priced at around 2.5 lakhs. Give it vibrant colors, alloy wheels, and air conditioning. Market it exclusively to young, upwardly mobile urban professionals and college students as a chic, trendy, smart city pod. Once the Nano is established as a cool, desirable urban gadget, then you quietly introduce the stripped-down 1 lakh base model. Buyers of the base model will feel like they are getting a clever deal on a premium brand, rather than being forced into a poor man's car. Third, pivot to B2B fleet operations. Instead of forcing families to stake their social dignity on an unproven microcar, Tata should have heavily targeted B2B operations. Sell massive fleets of the base model to taxi companies, corporate leasing firms, and urban delivery services. Get tens of thousands of Nanos on the road doing commercial work. This instantly proves the car's reliability and operational durability to the public without attacking a family's pride. But the story of the Tata Nano isn't over. Sometimes a failed product is simply a brilliant piece of engineering waiting for the right era. Today, the automotive world has fundamentally shifted, and Tata Motors has learned from its past. They aren't just bringing the Nano back, they are sparking a revolution. The 2025 Tata Nano Electric is reviving a cultural icon with an advanced electric platform, ensuring that extreme affordability finally meets modern sustainability. The price tag dynamically drops onto the screen in bold, modern typography. Rs 1.99 lakh. The Nano Electric isn't being sold as a reluctant compromise. It is a car made for the masses, built for the cities, and designed for the future. It stands as a true representation of India's journey toward accessible, dignified electric mobility. The $2,500 wonder car didn't die. It just needed to catch a spark. Thanks for watching. If you want more deep dive business and operational case studies, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Will the 2025 Nano Electric finally conquer the market?